Colleen Ballinger has a racism problem. Along with the allegations that she's been inappropriate towards her child fans, tried to smear Adam McIntyre after years of taking his ideas, sending inappropriate photos of Trisha Paytas to her fans, including allegedly some that might have been under the age of 18. And many more allegations. We can now add racism to the accusations that are being thrown at Colleen. I've done videos on some of those topics already. You can check the links in the description for both a rundown of pretty much everything to do with the allegations about her fans and the Trisha allegations. The sad truth is that a lot of YouTubers from this time have been accused of racism, of cultural appropriation, or have openly done things like blackface or saying the N-word on YouTube. And Colleen Ballinger is no stranger to these kinds of things as well. And it turns out that there might as well have been a lot of behind the scenes things happening in relation to this, which has been exposed by a former employee of hers. Before I move on and show you all of these examples though, I want to make sure that it is clear, legally speaking, that today's video is based on opinion and speculation. Everything said in this video is based on opinion and is not meant to be taken as fact, nor is anything in this video meant to defame or harass any individual, group, or company. Thank you very much. Over the years, Colleen has made a lot of negative comments about people of colour. For example, in one video from years ago, she is talking about getting on a plane and then a fat Asian woman with facial hair comes onto the plane and is going on about how she is hoping and praying that this person doesn't sit next to her, and then they do.
So then they're about to close the doors to the airplane, and who walks on? An extremely obese Asian woman with facial hair, and she walks on, and I'm like, please don't sit next to me, please don't sit next to me. And I turn around, and there are no open seats on the plane. So of course she comes and sits right next to me and on me. And her like fat rolls are like rolling over onto me.
In another video with her sister, which is about 5 minutes long by the way, they are doing a weird impression of Latino women, playing off of negative stereotypes and trying to make a big joke out of them.
I crossed the border, I went to Borders, and then I read a book on how to make my look. We got this. Del Taco. She works at the drive-thru at Del Taco. You know how the guys go loco. You can tell that she's new when she's working the drive-thru. She'll press the buttons and make it go muttons. She puts all the beef in the rice. And then we go and catch the mice. I set the mouse trap. I set the mouse trap. And then it goes map. My new boy Jose, I saw him outside. He was gardening with his shirt on. I was like, oh man, oh so hot, you know. He hotwired a new car and took me on a date in it, and it was nice. I'm dating. He's got kids, but like his ex-girlfriend takes them, you know, so I don't even have to see them.
Yeah, she like always takes care of him, so she like never has to take care of him. And he like doesn't even want to be her dad anymore anyway, so it's like he never even really sees him. So it's like whatever. You should talk about Carlos.
Oh God, I don't even talk about Carlos.
Don't even get me started on Carlos, okay?
Don't you know it's illegal for me to even talk about him?
It's not illegal, you just can't be within 50 feet of him.
I know. No, he can't be within 50 feet of me.
Before I move on and tell you the rest of the examples, I first want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN keeps you safe and private online by encrypting your information. It allows you to change your virtual location online. So say for example you are in Ireland like I am, you can be sitting here in Dublin but change your virtual location to anywhere in the world. Spain, Canada, Belgium, whatever you think. There are a lot of reasons why I find this particularly useful. For one, you all know I travel quite a bit, especially because I have family in other parts of the world. But since I do tend to travel a lot, that means that I often have to use the dreaded public Wi-Fi, which generally feels about as safe as leaving my wallet on a park bench and then just hoping that it's still going to be there when I get back. Thankfully though, Surfshark keeps you safe when using public Wi-Fi because it encrypts all your online data. Plus, when I'm abroad, Surfshark also lets me access websites websites and streaming services from home by allowing me to change my location to Ireland. But I don't just use a VPN when I am traveling though. I genuinely have one on all the time because it just makes me feel safe and like my online data isn't going to be stolen by some ominous figure somewhere. Even though I have one on all the time, if I ever do need to access a website without a VPN, Surfshark has a really useful feature that helps with this. Their bypasser allows you to turn off your VPN for certain websites or apps while still leaving the VPN on for other sites. And amazingly, Surfshark lets you use multiple devices under one subscription. I would genuinely really recommend Surfshark. I think it's great. And if you want to try it out, then I have definitely got a treat for you. You can use the code SKOV at checkout to get a massive 83% off the subscription, which is an absolutely huge discount. I genuinely would not want to miss that if I were you. But even better than that is that if you use code SKOV, you can also get 3 months completely free. And there is also a link in my description for you to check that out as well. And also to add to that, Surfshark do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you so much to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on with the rest of it. The whole video is gross. I don't see the point of it, and I don't see a period of time where this would have been funny. Not just because of the racism. Obviously a lot to do with the racism, but if you take that away from it, it's also just not a funny video. Along with this, 10 years ago, Colleen Ballinger uploaded a cover of a very popular song at the time. You may know what I'm gonna say already. She covered Gangnam Style. Now, I can't show you big clips of this for obvious potential copyright reasons, but I can show you a little snippet, and I think a snippet alone is bad enough. I'm sorry for having to expose you to that, but you kind of needed to see the example, and that's pretty bad.
But wait, there's more.
Michael Joseph Antipuna said, "How to sing like a big black woman." Now, some of you might say that this is racist. It isn't, because he said it, not me, so just saying. Anyways, a lot of people aspire to sound like a big black woman because they are more talented than other people usually, except for me. So how you can do that is a normal person would sing like this. And I am telling you, I'm not going. Really soft like that, and you sound very not good. Well, if you want to sing like a big black talented woman, what you would do is sing it really loud with really lots of vibrato.
Alright, so now on to hate mail and fan mail of the day. This hate mail is in response to my last video. First of you can't sing nor like a black woman. You don't have to be big to sing like a bigger black woman. You can't sing, so stop. And your answer is beep, because they don't move their head. It's called having a soul, which you will never have. This answer is from a serious woman. A serious and now angry black woman, unlike you. Respectable boaty. So, really rude. Someone has some anger issues, so I apologize for that.
My nail looks really good. That's who did that? Who did that nail? I'm not telling you.
Ballinger special. For $20 extra, I can give you a smudge on your finger. I take your whole hand.
I cover your whole finger.
News today that Jesus has risen from the dead.
Oh my goodness, the
Really annoying and really bad, and there was even a black girl who was being really loud. So I didn't have a very good experience, but I still want you guys to see my video. That's the loud black girl I was talking about.
Hey everyone, it's Tyler. I am about to challenge this video with
Ho, I'm Christopher Columbus. I have found this land of America. I will call America.
Oh, I am so glad you found me. Thank you for rescuing me, Columbus. This is my pet, Squanto. Hi, Chi-Chin. You can't talk loud. Shh, don't speak, Squanto.
And before anybody comments, which I know inevitably will happen, saying that Colleen was just playing the Miranda Sings character. This is the joke of Miranda Sings. She is completely tone deaf and just says ridiculous things that nobody would ever say. Okay, I do understand that. However, Colleen herself has said that Miranda Sings is a character that allows her to say things out loud that she wouldn't normally be able to say. It allows her to say what she's thinking, but blame it on the Miranda Sings character. She has outright said that.
Well, I played a character for many years, and I got to piggyback on his ego and pretend it wasn't mine.
Yes.
Do you ever mean what she's saying?
Yes, all the time. There's a lot of times where in character I'll say something so cruel or, something I'm thinking but I would never actually say as myself, and it's very liberating to be able to say things that I'm thinking.
Can I give you some advice?
Yes.
Never tell people when those moments are.
I won't, I promise.
And I am sure that she regrets doing that interview. But it's not just clips of Colleen trying to be funny or singing songs. There's also an article, like I said, from a former employee of Colleen's, who said that she had to deal with a lot of terrible things when working for her. Upon meeting Colleen, my first impression of her was that she was boisterous, opinionated, and had a stunning lack of humility that was unlike anything I had ever seen. Immediately upon entering the writer's room, I was treated to story after story about her sold-out shows, how obsessed her fans were with her, and the lengths they would go to get her attention. Honestly, I'm not surprised by this. I've said it so many times, and so many people have said it so many times. You have to have at least just a little bit of an ego to do YouTube in any capacity. And yes, I am saying that as I am doing YouTube, but there is a level, and quite a few levels, where having just a little bit of an ego, it doesn't really cause any problems. However, a lot of the bigger YouTubers, and especially the old school YouTubers, seem to have gotten quite bad. They get talked up by everybody around them, and they think that they can do absolutely no wrong. Which is why a lot of them end up doing such terrible things for so long, because they feel like nothing can touch them. They are untouchable. But then when it eventually does get to them, it all comes crashing down. So I fully believe that Colleen probably is amazingly egotistical and just think that the sun shines out of her asshole. I don't know her, but it's not unbelievable for this level of YouTube fame, especially from this time period. I would like to be clear though, I'm not saying that every big YouTuber or every YouTuber from this time has a massive ego. I'm not saying that at all. A lot of them are probably really lovely, but I can definitely name a few off the top of my head who seem to have this issue. On the second day, she hauled in a small portion of her collection of art, made by her beloved Mirfandas. This included several papier-mâché Miranda heads, homemade figurines, stacks upon stacks of fan mail, and drawings of something called the Daddy Saddle. That is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life, but let's read about what that is. The Daddy Saddle, I would come to learn, is an item featured in many of Miranda Sings' videos, and it's used to allow Miranda to more easily ride around on her uncle's back. The uncle character was something that Colleen took great pride in. She had spent years building him into an essential Miranda Sings lore, and once we began to break stories for the show, it became clear that he was going to be an integral part of it. Miranda and Uncle Jim had, in the character's words, a special relationship. She often pitched stories in which Miranda and Uncle Jim would be caught in compromising positions or stomach-churning moments of intimacy that would always be easily explained away by a clueless Miranda. It was my responsibility to write down every single one of these pitches, schedule calls to look at mock-ups of the Daddy Saddle that would be featured on the show, and mark points in the script where Colleen thought we could make Uncle Jim even more or-wordy. I am just... I don't want to say shocked, because at this point none of it is shocking anymore. So much has come out about Colleen, so many terrible things that I just feel a little bit dead to it. But I just want to ask, why? Why was this a character that she really, really wanted to include? Why was this something that she found funny? Sure, humor is subjective. Everybody has their own sense of humor. I am often finding that people don't understand my sense of humor. I have quite a dry sense of humor, and I've noticed as well that a lot of the time I'll be joking, either in real life or especially in videos, and people won't realize that I'm joking. It happens a lot, and it's a problem. So people do have different senses of humor. However, why would writing a character, an incesty character, who's or-wordy, for a kids show be funny? It's a kids show? Why is this something that you want to include in a kids show? I don't understand this at all, and I'm completely baffled by it. But it really does show where Colleen's headspace was with creating content for kids. And she can say it's PG-13 all she wants, but we all know that adults were not the ones, at least in the majority, watching her videos. As you can imagine, this all made me so uncomfortable. Here I was, the odd one out in every conceivable way, tasked to aid Colleen as she pursued her singular goal of shoving as much ancestral innuendo into the show as possible, while assuaging the growing behind-the-scenes concerns that the show would be alienating to intended audiences, which was, again, kids. So it was even being pointed out to her that she was making too many inappropriate jokes for a kids show. What wasn't going through her head? It all felt deeply wrong. She would show us photos of the packed rows of smiling children who had attended her show the night before, and in the same breath spend hours trying to think of a way to show Miranda and Uncle Jim all but having actual sex on screen. I felt insane. Really, truly, she just seems to be trying to push the barrier in any way possible. And again, I don't know why. Why do you want to push that boundary so badly? What is in it for you in pushing that boundary? But here's the part where we start to get into Colleen's very blatant racism. Another one of my responsibilities was to sit in on production meetings and take notes. It was in one of those meetings that I had to document Colleen's insistence that we use limited POC background actors in the show, as the show took place in Washington, and having them just randomly there would be distracting. In whose brain is having people of colour in a show distracting? Now, I'm not from Washington. I have never been to Washington. But I'm sure it is not just a place where only white people exist. And distracting to who? Is it distracting to Colleen? Does Colleen lose her train of thought and forget how to speak and what she was doing and where she was going when she sees a person of colour? Because that makes absolutely no sense. That just sounds like an excuse. Because, for one, saying it's distracting is a bad excuse, and it's definitely a racist excuse, but it was probably the best that she could come up with to just say, I don't want people of colour in my show. I took note as Colleen was shown an Asian food market that would be redressed as a bodega for the show, and watched her disgust as she demanded assurance that all the Asian would be removed before filming. What the fuck? I did actually have to Google what a bodega is, by the way. It's apparently a wine shop or wine cellar or a small grocery shop, especially in a Spanish-speaking neighbourhood, according to Oxford Languages on a Google search. So it's a little shop. So firstly, yeah, they were redressing it. It wasn't going to look like an Asian market anymore, I assume. But regardless, why do you need to make that comment of that all the Asian shit is going to be gone? I'm vaguely at a loss for words because all I can think is what in God's name is wrong with this woman? I don't think I need to overanalyze this comment because you can all clearly see how terrible this comment is. I sat patiently as the powers that be expressed concern that the entire main cast for the show was white, and silently prayed that since someone with some actual say had spoken up, things might change. And I took note, yet again, as Colleen assured them that they had only casted the best person for each role, and that it wasn't her fault that all of those people ended up being white. Except for the fact that she already said that she wanted limited numbers of people of colour as background characters, so it's not a far jump to say that she wouldn't want people of colour as the main characters. April then goes on to discuss how Colleen would often make biting comments about people that were around her and commenting on everything from their hair to their clothes, and that she had absolutely no boundaries. And like she had allegedly done to the fans in her group chats, who were teenagers by the way, she also made the people working for her listen to her marital problems and details of her relationship. Being a listening ear to her complaints about fans, they were being so sensitive lately, aka they had spoken up about their discomfort with her using a black scent. I recall overhearing her once brag that a creator was being cancelled for saying the N-word. And if you think that she went with N-word instead of hitting the hard R, then you haven't been paying attention. And that she would never be stupid enough to get caught doing something like that. So she's fine with saying it just as long as she doesn't get caught. April then goes on to discuss how Miranda seemed to revel in making her uncomfortable, because it seemed like she wanted people to be uncomfortable with the work that she was creating. It was almost like she took a weird pleasure in making me uncomfortable, and knowing that even if I wanted to, there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. She was cruel, and it was the same cruelty that I recognized in the video she posted on Wednesday, addressing the many allegations that have been piling up against her over the few weeks. In this, April is referring to the now infamous Hi video, where Colleen takes out a ukulele, and I still have the ukulele that I borrowed. So should we sing? I'm not going to make that joke again. No, we're not going to sing it again. I'm sorry. Which, by the way, in the video where I did sing, which is linked in the description, some people said that they liked my singing voice, which firstly, why? But secondly, thank you. And also, if you do, I do actually have a handful of songs. They're available on YouTube and on Spotify, and they're linked in the description of every video. So, there you go. Towards the end of the article, April explains that this was not her only terrible experience in working as a writer. Apparently racism is quite a big issue in the industry. I'm sure for a lot of you that's not news, but for me it is, for obvious reasons. So I'm just truly sorry to anybody who has to deal with this, and I'm quite shocked by how blatant a lot of the racism just seems to be. Colleen thought she could just make comments like this and get away with it. April also shares a screenshot of a conversation that she was having about Colleen with one of her friends, and it is really eye-opening and again, quite shocking. We're rewatching auditions from earlier this morning, watching the tape of this black actor, who is very fine by the way. But anyway, the lighting wasn't great and Colleen just shouted out loud, "Where is he?" implying he is so dark-skinned he disappeared. You can totally see him, it was just overcast this morning. I am losing my words at this point. Why does the thought come to your head to make comments like this? And even if, for some reason, your brain conjures up these comments, which, why? But if it does, how do you feel comfortable enough to say them out loud? Like you're not being racist. Like you're not being inappropriate. Because to summarize, she's making comments like this. She's saying that she doesn't want too many POC background characters because it'll be distracting, and then brushes off that all the main characters are white when we already know that she didn't even want POC background characters. Why would she want them as main characters? Mixed in with the horribleness of the show itself and the fact that she was trying to make this Uncle Jim character and trying to push the boundary of what she could get away with in a kids' show. There is no witch hunt, no toxic gossip train, no dangerous mob hell-bent on destroying the life of an innocent person just for something to do. The truth is, there are real people who have had real experiences that have affected them in a great deal, and there are narcissists who choose to cover their ears and look the other way. It makes absolutely no sense that Colleen had the gall to claim that everything about her was lies. Everything is just somebody twisting something for clout. When there are so many people with so many similar stories of her just being a horrible person. She even sang that little bit at the end of her song of just because someone made a mistake doesn't make them a horrible person. You are a horrible person. It wasn't just you made some small mistake. This was a pattern of behaviour for years, for over a decade. And probably for most of your life, we just didn't see the earlier years. Another thing that came up recently about Colleen's racism problem was to do with a clip that was unlisted on her channel. This was only available through her book. There was a little QR code that you could scan to watch this video. And in it, she is singing along and dancing to Single Ladies by Beyonce. In this clip, it looked like that she had either black or dark brown paint on her face, and people were saying that this was blackface. However, it later came out that this was not black paint, it was not dark brown paint, it was green paint from a Wicked bit that she had been doing. So fine, this one example isn't blackface. But does it matter when there are so many other examples of her being racist? Do we need that one clip to prove everything? No. And I have seen there are still more conversations going around about whether it's inappropriate or it's not inappropriate given things that we already know, or whether Colleen was trying to make it look like Miranda didn't realize that she looked like she was in blackface, but I don't feel like I'm the appropriate person to broach this conversation. So just let me know your opinion down in the comments. Regardless though, something really important did come out of this, and that is that Colleen's legal team responded to this. Variety had posted an article about the alleged blackface before we realised that it was green paint, and then they updated it. YouTuber and performer Colleen Ballinger, best known as the creator of Miranda Sings, was wearing green makeup in a video from 2009 when she sang Beyonce's Single Ladies, and was not in blackface as some posts on social media alleged, according to her legal representatives. In the video clip posted online, Ballinger, as her Miranda Sings persona, had some kind of dark coloured grease paint on her face as she performed the Beyonce hit. Law firm Burke Brettler, which represents Ballinger, reached out to Variety to explain that the clip that posted online did not show that prior to that, Ballinger performed the song As Long As You're Mine from Wicked, and that she had painted her face green like Elphaba. I have not seen Wicked, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. After that, she went right into Single Ladies while still wearing the green makeup. According to her reps, at the time, Ballinger closed all her shows with that Beyonce song as it was one of her most popular bits. According to Ballinger's legal representatives, the suggestion that she was performing in blackface is false. You may be asking why I'm saying that this is all very important, because like I already said, it's very clear from other things that she does seem to have a problem with racism. And we don't need this one clip to prove that. But what's important about this is that this is the first time that Colleen's legal reps have spoken out about any of the accusations against her. And before her legal representatives had spoken out, it was pointed out by a few people already on Twitter that this was green face paint and it was not blackface. What's so interesting is that this is the only allegation that they have spoken about. Because this, in my opinion, is the only one that they can disprove. This was the only provably false accusation. Again, all of this is in my opinion, don't sue me. And that is why this is the only one that they spoke about. They have not commented on anything else. They have not commented on the allegations about her being inappropriate with her fans. They have not spoken out about the things that she had allegedly done to Trisha Paytas, about the things that she had done to Adam McIntyre, or countless other accusations that were being made. They have not commented on a single one of them, only on the one thing that they could disprove. They have completely and utterly told on themselves by making a statement about this. And honestly, I think that's a good thing. Because if Colleen wants to sit here and say that everything is just a lie, it's all made up for clout, and everybody's twisting the truth, tell us the truth then. Show us the proof, show us the facts. Because clearly your legal representatives can make a statement for you because they did so here. So why don't they make a statement about everything else? And I just want to remind everybody again, even though I've said it about 50 times, even though this video was not what it appeared to be when it came out, that doesn't matter. There are so many other instances of Colleen Ballinger being racist, and in general, of being a terrible person. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I would absolutely recommend that you read the full article, so I've linked it in the description for you. Definitely do read the full thing. Check out the other videos if you haven't already, and I will have more on this situation coming up. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a sort of series on this, talking about the different things that have come out. And there may be some interviews, like I said, in the future as well. Thank you for watching this video and liking, commenting, and sharing, as I know you are about to do, and let me know in the comments about your day. And thank you to my patrons for supporting me. And thank you to the YouTube members as well. Most importantly though, please do subscribe, it really helps me out. I was saying that I probably wouldn't be able to reach 90,000 before my birthday, which again is next week, but now it's actually looking possible, so please subscribe, that would be great. Thank you. Turn on notifications, follow me on social media, everywhere I am VangelinaSkov, and also don't forget that you can use the link in my description or use code SKOV to get 83% off Surfshark VPN plus 3 months completely free. And most importantly, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. And I just realized I said most importantly about 2 things, but it doesn't matter. Bye!